Friday morning. My name is Kwame Usuranso. I'm told today is Valentine's Day. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day, but I'm told today is Valentine's Day. I don't know what we are supposed to be doing for people. It's like your birthday. Every day is a birthday. So I don't subscribe to Valentine's Day, but happy Valentine's Day to people who celebrate it. I wish you all the love and all the attending lovely things that comes with Valentine's Day. So please enjoy. This morning, we have a number of issues that we are going to be discussing. And I think it is important that we discuss these matters dispassionately, devoid of any partisan inclinations, particularly because it is at the heart of what we have chosen to do as a nation, that is democracy. And so democracy, as part of the prescriptions of democracy, accountability is a key element of it. And so we must at all material times be accountable to the good people of Ghana if we have been given the opportunity to serve as a public servant. So that is perhaps going to be the main topic for today's conversation. And I'm happy that I have the Honorable A.B. Fuseni here seated, former MP Sagnarigo constituency, and our very own Dr. Ramsey, who is a leading member of the Movement for Change and one of the leading members of the Communications Department. Good morning to you, gentlemen, and thank you very much for your time.
Good morning.
I was told yesterday that Sabo is in town and he requested to join us this morning. I don't know why he's not here, but as and when he gets here, we will introduce him to you. Nonetheless, let me quickly run you through the topics. I think we've already spent 30 minutes. I had a little challenge with my Homo sapien system. so we may have to flay with the first topic and move to the other topics. I don't know if we are all in agreement. Majority apologizes to Ofori-Atta for raid on his residence. 81,000 ghost names inflate NSA payroll. Government settles arrears. The imminent power crisis. I think when we have the time, we'll discuss it. But these are the two very important issues that we have decided to tackle this morning. And let me quickly give you a preamble, a prelude to the second story, where Mahama Yarga, who is the majority leader now, is apologizing to Ken Ofori-Atta for raid on his residence. Interestingly, the Honorable Afenyo Making was on the floor of Parliament indicating to the good people of Ghana that the Honorable former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is traumatized by reason of the description of him as someone who is a fugitive from justice. And following from that, we heard from the majority side, and that is when Mahama Yarga decided that he was going to apologize to Ofori-Atta, particularly for the raid on his residence. Now, a lot of people have been asking very varied and valid questions. One is, are people above the laws of this country? People who have been given the opportunity, and I describe it as such, to serve the good people of Ghana, are they above the laws of this country? Number two, the principle of accountability enjoins everybody to account for his or her stewardship. And so when you are given the opportunity to serve, at the end of your service, you must account for what you have done for, what you have done for the good people of this country. Number three, if you have been invited by an investigative body and you, in your response, try to create the impression that you don't even know when you are coming back because you are on medical or health leave, for want of better expression, then does it not stand to reason that you can be described in the manner or in the manner that the Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta was described by the special prosecutor when he held the press conference. These are very important issues that I believe must govern our discussions on the show. Having said that, I think it's important to start the conversation with my very own Dr. Ramsey. Doc.
Council.
Morning.
Good morning.
I trust you are well.
I am doing well. How are you doing? It's quite unfortunate you're going through a marathon, but it is well. It is well.
Yes.
Let me take this opportunity to say a very good morning to the good people of Ghana and our leader, Honorable Alan Kojo Tremantin, and let's say a Juma Mubarak to my Muslim brothers and sisters and my senior colleague, Honorable A.B.F. Husseini, which we are waiting to hear the good news. Yeah. And I hope that it will be good news indeed, because Honorable A.B.F. Husseini is somebody that we have watched growing up, and he continues to be a mentor to most of the young people out there who have great interest in politics and who uphold to the tenets of patriotism. And so let me take this opportunity to also say the NDC, we are waiting for his appointment because it's been too late. Honorable A.B.F. Husseini deserves better, right? Council.
Yes, sir.
I will start by first and foremost questioning the integrity of the procedure, right, in handling a civil case, because I think that the suspect in question, Ken Ofori-Atta, right, is going through what a civil case. If I might be guided, it's more like a civil case.
No, this I think it's a criminal case.
Criminal case. Okay, so criminal case, right? And we know that in a criminal case, right, the police has a fiduciary duty to the merits of the case in enforcing the law. And I have been one person, if you followed me for some quite time on this platform, I have been an adamant critic of our military, right? That the Ghana Armed Forces over the years, indeed, is a declining institution. And I say that unequivocally, and I can give a lot of references. The case about 200 people assembled in Ashama and brutalized, 8 people who died in Techima South, and just recently 9 people who were innocently killed, who were not armed, in Obuasi, and still justice has not been served. I don't know the business of the military in this operation, but I think that it goes ahead to put a dent on the image of such an institution. I am not against the raiding of the house, because Ken Ofori-Atta indeed is not above the law, but the state security agency used for that matter. Are they trying to say that Ken Ofori-Atta is a threat to the sovereignty of Ghana? Which, of course, others can argue and say that indeed he has conducted himself in public office in a manner that seems to suggest that. Because anybody that holds a public office and is a threat to the collective economic growth of the people of Ghana, indeed is a national threat. And for that matter, I would say is a threat to the sovereignty of Ghana, if I may put it that way. And so, yes, there are a lot of issues that came out. I quite remember, even in their own party, Nana's People's Party, not the MPP. I always call it Nana's People's Party. There's a great disparity between the MPP and Nana's People's Party, because I cannot sit down here, right, and say that the MPP of President Kufuor, right, is relevant to the current group that we see today who occupy certain viable offices in the MPP council or influential figures. When you look at the merit of the case posited by the Honorable Special Prosecutor, Lawyer Kisia Jabin, you know, we have always advocated for accountability in our governance system. And this case, the bottom line is what? Lack of accountability and corruption. Council, if you look at the crimes that have gone on under the regime of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, Council, we have to really question if we have laws in this country. There is a popular SML deal that Ken Ofori-Atta signed against the interest of state agencies, the advice of state agencies. I quite remember we members of the Movement for Change were against such repugnant deal. A lot of CSOs came out to chastise the deal or criticize the deal because it did not inure any benefit to the people of Ghana. But hey, Ken Ofori-Atta, known as a person who I would say was a de facto president, if I may put it that way, didn't listen. And he went ahead to sign that SML deal. And you know, it had to do with revenue collection for GRA from our upstream petroleum sector and downstream petroleum sector, and also all the export of our mineral resources, especially gold. All the taxes that were paid on it was being collected by SML, and it will baffle you to know the amount of monies that were released to SML. I hear in excesses of over 1 billion, more in excesses. Honorable, in excesses over 1 billion Ghana cedis, for God's sake.
It was $100 million.
Yes, in excesses. So, yeah, in excesses.
I agree.
In excesses.
So that would be 1.6
billion.
I
did an analysis. Okay, well, not an analysis. It was a report by the Fourth Estate.
Yes, by Manasseh Azuri. Yes.
Yeah, where they sought to look at the revenue flow
yes,
from particularly the minerals and metals,
yeah,
and they explained how much we were going to pay to SML,
yeah,
about 0.75% of 3.7 million ounces of gold, yeah, which were mined and exported in Ghana. Yes. So if you multiplied that, we're looking at the net of over $50 million, yes, just there.
That, yes.
Yes. So I can appreciate what you're saying.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And we all know that Ghana Revenue Authority has got a system called ICOMS, right? The ICOMS platform. And under that platform, there is a software that was built for them, right, to be able to track the revenues that is generated from these key sectors that I just mentioned, and then collect them. So where is SML from? Why SML? Couldn't government, if indeed the Akufo-Addo regime claimed that they were going to protect the public purse, right, and reduce wastage, couldn't they equip the customs or the GRA, right, to invest in a software that will not be more than 1 billion Ghana cedis, right? If they gave them those funds, because they have an IT department, they have a revenue collection department. If they were able to resource them to be able to meet or fit the gaps in why SML was introduced, and I think that there's a multiplicity of issues here, because the ICOM system does exactly what SML does. So why then did they go ahead to bring in SML? if there were gaps in there, they should have rather resourced them, save that 1 billion Ghana cedis, right, for other developmental agenda, including the Agenda 111 that today, I think that is only about 3 hospitals that have been commissioned. Council, the double track system that is being faced by the young people of Ghana who are seeking to get a secondary education due to what? Deficit in our infrastructure in the educational sector. Look at the roads that we use in Ghana today. And since independence to date, we cannot even brag of a dualized road from Accra to Kumasi, the second largest city in Ghana, and for that matter, the stronghold of the New Patriotic Party, not the Next People's Party. Council, so Ken Ofori-Atta has had numerous instances of corrupt practices and biases. Look at the ambulance deal that he paid monies to the daughters of the president and her associates. That in this country, and it's on record, and I think that we need a Guinness record award for that matter, that the cost of spare parts for an ambulance, right, actually can buy the total fleet of ambulances that were procured within the era of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Council, but when you divide the cost of, he released about $34 million. That when you divide that $34 million to the number of ambulances that they claim they budgeted for spare parts for, it means that the cost of spare parts for one ambulance alone, honorable, is $111,000. And that $111,000 can secure 3 ambulances. And Council, I don't know whether you have experienced this before. Even our ambulance service, when you call an ambulance to rush to wherever you are for an emergency, they will tell you that, Masa Mbacho, you need fuel.
It's true.
You need fuel. So if you can please send us some momo so that we can buy fuel and then come to your location. So all these monies were going into the pockets of what? The family of the president against the interests of the state and the suffering people of Ghana. As if that was not enough. Council.
Where are the ambulances?
A Japan deal that they took to Parliament seek to ensure that royalties that were paid, right, will be collateralized for $1.5 billion.
Right.
This same Ken Ofori-Atta collateralized the GET fund and capped it and raised $1.5 billion, right? Dirty bonds.
And the royalties and all these.
$1.5 billion, and that $1.5 billion they claimed they were going to use to support the deficit in our infrastructure in the educational sector. But up to date, we can see the reality that double track is still going on. The double track system is still going on. So what did these people use the $1.5 billion for? As if it was not enough. Council, as if it was not enough. Ken Ofori-Atta led a government that borrowed more than any government in the history of this country. And we borrowed over $33 billion from the international capital markets. And guess what? His company, Data Bank, were the financial transactional advisors for this deal. And of course, it was business as usual. A person who upholds a viable key government position, right? And your company is dealing with government. Isn't that conflict of interest? Isn't that conflict of interest and benefiting? And that is why I can say that Ghana's debt skyrocketed to that amount. And to that percentage, 84% to GDP. Because anytime Ghana borrows, Ken Ofori-Atta what? Benefits. And so that was part of the business model that the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo regime used, right, to profit from the people of Ghana and loot the state. And so kudos to the OSP for dealing with such fugitive. I will not mix my words. Yes, he indeed is a fugitive.
All right.
How can you suspend your visit to the OSP indefinitely on medical grounds, and even shock Ghanaians? Council, do you know Mayo Clinic, the hospital that Ken Ofori-Atta is going to? Those of you that don't know Mayo Clinic, there's a joke about Mayo Clinic that the angel of death is even afraid to even enter that clinic. Yes, because when you get there, the top experts in the world, medical experts in the world, are all there, and that is where the king of Saudi Arabia seeks medical attention. The king of Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, we have our Kolebus there, we have our Rich there, we have the UGMC there, but because for 8 years they failed to revamp our health sector, when they are sick, they take expensive private jets.
Where's it located?
In the US. In the US, Mayo Clinic is one of the biggest.
M-A-Y-O.
Yeah, Mayo. Yeah. The king of Saudi Arabia, all the top leaders in the world, name them, the rich people all go to Mayo Clinic. So how is he able to indeed afford such? And of course, that vindicates all what we are saying. And so, President Mahama, and I'm pleading with President Mahama that this is his legacy term. This is his legacy term. Indeed, the people of Ghana voted for him because he promised to enhance, right, prosecution of corrupt officials of the Eswa Akufo-Addo Bawumia regime, and then ensure accountability in his government. This is the time to prove the people of Ghana that indeed the trust and the power that was given to you by the people, that you are doing just. And I want to tell the OSP not to despair. We would advocate for the prosecution of Ken Ofori-Atta and a lot of the corrupt officials in the MPP, because they have set a bad precedent in our Fourth Republic. And if justice is not served unto them, Council, the people of Ghana would never forgive the key holders of these offices, the AG, the OSP, and even the IGP, to bring justice to the doors of Ken Ofori-Atta for such erroneous crimes against the people of Ghana. And so nobody should come and say it's a political vendetta on Ken Ofori-Atta or his witch hunt. No, indeed Ken Ofori-Atta should be liable for his crimes. Council, he should be liable for his crimes. And we want to see Ken Ofori-Atta jailed. Jail. That's as Nkrumah jailed one of their uncles.
Well, just by way of education, I think this Mayo Clinic you're talking about, it's a very expensive hospital.
Yes.
Very expensive.
Council, everybody wishes to work for Mayo Clinic.
And what people have been, if you go on Google, what people have been searching the most, why is Mayo Clinic so expensive? That's the question that people are asking. How much is Mayo Clinic worth? Mayo Clinic price lists. You know, when people begin asking such questions, then it should tell you that
Council, to meet a doctor, to consult you in Mayo Clinic, right? The processes you have to go through, Honorable. You have to be a high net individual and a very influential individual. If not,
I don't have any problem. I mean, look, I thought our health is very important.
Council.
But the issue that I have is when he was even ill, you recall that he took some long leave to attend to his health needs and did not still abandon his position as the health or finance minister. When the conference removal, so anyway, let me come to Honorable ABA Fuseni.
Kwame, let me say good morning to your good self. And my brother Ramsey, and to reiterate my call, I made this fervent call to His Excellency President Mahama. I know President Mahama is a listening president. He's a very humble, down-to-earth president who appreciates even differences of opinion. And I want to reiterate my call that for all those other people who not only joined the NDC in the campaign to call for change, but also worked very hard on the ground, not being NDC members, principally Afrafranto. I'm not a chief man, forgive me. To. It's To, not To.
Yes, To.
Afrafranto.
Good.
Okay.
Movement for change.
Okay, Movement for Change. PNC, other very like-minded Ghanaians. I think that an effort should be made to tap their expertise and talents and bring them on board. President Mahama cherishes the success of this nation, his reset agenda, his rebuilding agenda. And I want to reiterate that for those who harbor the requisite talents in these groups must be looked at and accommodated and brought in to bring their expertise to bear so that he can succeed in the good plans that he has in Ghana. Kwame, they say that even a chief who seeks longevity and success must not even forget to appreciate the efforts of those who hailed him when he was being carried in the palanquin. I'm sure that is a very worthy thing to do.
If you can repeat the problem again.
I'm saying that the chief who seeks longevity and success must not forget to recognize the efforts of those who hailed him when he was carried in the palanquin.
Right.
It's very important in that respect. Kwame, you see, they say when they are sacking you in the evening, you don't greet good night because you will not even see the sunset. It's amazing. The MPP never ceased to amaze me. And let me anchor this discussion first on the premise that yes, democracy comes along with a regime of human rights and fundamental freedoms. And I am every day in favor of a situation where if there's an infraction on the human rights and fundamental freedoms of any person, I think that we all ought to rise up in defense of individuals whose rights have been infringed upon. I have no qualms about that. And so if it was realized that maybe some intrusion into his private residence under certain circumstances that were not right, an apology rendered by Honorable Majority Leader on the floor of Parliament, Honorable Mahama Yarada. Kwame, it's in place. I know. I'm saying this aware of the fact that many NDC people are very angry. That what kind of apology are you issuing? I understand that. And Kwame, that is the difference between the NDC and the MPP. And I will soon come to why many people are angry that this apology is being issued to Ken Ofori-Atta, who I believe, Kwame, there are three principal people, at least out of those three people, if the NDC government does not demand accountability from them, Ghanaians will be angry. I agree with you. That is President Nana Akufo-Addo, 1. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, 2. 3. Ken Ofori-Atta. And I said it before that it was easier when they were calling for the head of Ken. I said it was easier to remove Nana Akufo-Addo than to remove Ken Ofori-Atta. Because he is the powerhouse. He was the powerhouse of the MPP. And he was a demigod. Can you imagine that when the MPs called for his head, Nana Akufo-Addo called them to the Jubilee House and blasted all of them that they didn't know how the MPP got to power. They should not dare point any finger at Ken. So, Kwame, I make a distinction between the raid that was conducted and then a demand for accountability. After the demand for accountability, no iota, nobody should make a mistake and think that Ken Ofori-Atta should be spared. Indeed, I just hope that the special prosecutor did not just generate hits, but that he was generating substance, and that what he has started is committed to it, not just to do it for the media hype. He must go down, because Ken Ofori-Atta is one of the most wicked, lawless people that ever traversed this country. Very vindictive. Come in. You even look at how he took things personal and collapsed people's banks. Deliberately. A problem that needed 9 billion to solve. He used over 31. It when they upgraded it from 27 to 31 billion to solve. Okay? So this man, Kwame, in terms of these infractions of the law, Kwame, if you go back from the time, many people have forgotten, at the very initial stage, when he went for the Ken bond, the 2.2 billion from the very onset. And Kwame, look at the lawless procedure that they adopted. People didn't even hear before they heard, because there was a process of advertising it for people to bid and order. It never all happened. They went behind the law and did the kululu. And worst of all, Kwame, they had crafted a philosophy between these three people I've mentioned: Nana Akufo-Addo, Dr. Bawumia, and Ken Ofori-Atta. The poorer Ghana got, the richer they became. That is why many people don't understand the rationale behind the reckless and irresponsible borrowing Ken Ofori-Atta went on. That borrowing reckless spree that he went on. Kwame, it was not just in consonance with the nation's needs and demands. It was what every dollar Ghana borrowed, Ken Ofori-Atta and his company, Data Bank and other, they all benefited directly, because during the book running, they had a percentage of the monies that were being borrowed. And I cannot rationalize, because this matter even went to the what do you call this, trial. Kwame, if I am the Minister of Finance and my company is benefiting from monies that I take, is it not a clear conflict of interest? It was so glaring.
It is.
That institutions that failed to recognize this glaring nature of the conflict of interest, the finance minister undertook. So from the Ken bond, Kwame, through the SML that we are talking about, Crow and Associates, this vindictive banking sector, you see that of National Cathedral, where he came to say that there was no state money that would be put in it. You see obviously that, Kwame, this man has a lot of questions to answer, and I have no sympathy. Kwame, I even point to reckless and lawless. Listen, you remember in Parliament we had a big fight over the e-levy.
Yes. Oh, I do remember. Yes.
Kwame, as we speak today, that matter is still before court. Even before the Supreme Court. It has not been decided. No. While the matter was pending in court, he went ahead to implement the e-levy.
Yep. Promise that we're not going to go to the IMF.
Okay.
These guys are
so Kwame, the issues of accountability are so overwhelming that many Ghanaians cannot wait to see Ken Ofori-Atta dragged to answer for his reckless, irresponsible and criminal actions. Okay? I think that he must not be allowed in this square. And Kwame, I've been asking a question. He says he's sick. Where is his medical report? Has he given the special prosecutor any evidence of the medical report? Who issued the medical report? When was it issued? And for what cause has it been issued? I have heard somebody making a futile argument that, he had informed the chief of staff. That's not the point. The chief of staff is not the officer, is not the special prosecutor. The special prosecutor is doing his work. And so if he has to answer to certain things, he must answer directly to the special prosecutor.
Absolutely.
So has he given the special prosecutor his medical record for him to know? And Kwame, is it at the beck and call of Ofori-Atta to decide when he wants to come and answer charges, criminal charges? It should not.
Yeah, no, at all. At all.
If everybody decides that, if a court summons you and you want to decide when you want to go to that court, not when that court has summoned you.
I know, right?
That is additional element of lawlessness. Yeah. You know, and I've said that this man had himself like a tin god. Okay? And you felt that he was untouchable.
Yeah.
He was the omnipotent, the Almighty himself. Nobody can attempt to touch him. And Kwame, that is what mainly infuriates Ghanaians. And what infuriates Ghanaians more is that, Kwame, go and see how NDC members were treated. Victor Solomon was subject to undignified arrest, incarceration, and he died as a result of that. He lost his life. Kwame, Kwame was arrested in church. Kwame, what can be more insensitive, vindictive, wicked, callous to go and arrest somebody in a church when he has just gone to worship? You can't even have the patience to wait for him to finish the church service, and you take. They arrested him in a church and incarcerated Chachu. Chachu nearly died, but for the mercy of the Almighty Allah. You see, okay, Kwame, the current Attorney General, they invaded his house. Honorable Dominic Ayini, my good brother, the Energy Minister, George Napo, they invaded his house, took all his phones, took his laptops, and attempted him building his vehicles in his own house. Okay? Many NDC members were subjected to inhuman, degrading, and undignified treatment under the MPP when their fundamental human rights were flagrantly abused and taken away. Kwame, let's not even forget, may Allah be pleased with him, His Excellency President Jerry John Rawlings.
Yeah.
You remember all his cases had been withdrawn, and President Rawlings himself had to carry his bag at the airport.
Yeah.
You remember this? At that time, Nana Akufo-Addo was the foreign minister alive.
Yeah.
Under their watch. So how can an armed robber pontificate morals to a pickpocket? Where is his moral standing? Today, I've heard the minority crying over this. Where were they when all this indignified treatment was meted out to citizens just because they were NDC? And they kept mute. They never saw anything, Kwame. They never saw anything wrong with the abuse of the fundamental human rights of their fellow Ghanaians. Today, the shoe is on the other foot, and they are crying, "Mama." So, Kwame, I think that I want to urge the special prosecutor. When you start a fight, you must finish it.
I don't want you to end on Ken Ofori-Atta because I think the investigation goes beyond Ken Ofori-Atta.
Yes, that's why
there are some other people whose names were also
Kwame,
so I want you to.
I think that whoever is mentioned in this thing, that's why I say first my focus is that there must be accountability first from these three people, because they wielded power and dictated the pace of events and issues from that pedestal.
Do you agree with some constitutional lawyers then for saying that the provision which protects the president for a number of years after he leaves office must be looked at?
Yes, I think that in parts of the constitutional amendments we are proposing it should to enhance accountability. Because I think there are some egregious violations of human rights and others which must not be allowed to go. No matter the length of time. And you people who are lawyers, you people say crime has no, it's not statute ban. Okay, so if somebody has committed, just because he was a president and he committed those atrocities, you will have to get away with it. No, he should not. And I think we must answer.
The unfortunate thing is that you cannot retrospectively apply a new law. That's the problem.
Okay.
You know, otherwise, because I'm thinking of a situation where Nana Akufo-Addo himself will be taken to court to answer to some of the
decisions.
Because see, yes, he has breached the constitution.
So many times.
The oath of service of the president. You understand? You know, as part of it, he said in breach of the contract, the social contract with the group, he must be made to suffer pain. He should be made to suffer pain. So if all of us agree that whether it was direct involvement or otherwise, the president's decisions affected the generality of the Ghanaian people, he must be made to suffer that pain. You recall the domestic debt exchange program, which led to this haircut.
Yes.
Some people died. The CEO and owner of Kama Pharmaceuticals died. So many people died. People who had saved their monies for over 30 years, 40 years.
They were treating chronic diseases.
You know, chronic diseases.
Yes.
Because of a foolish decision that was taken by government.
Yes.
And these people must not be left like that.
Not only decision taking. The decision taken as a result of not just their incompetence.
Yeah,
their greed, avarice, and wickedness.
Yes.
Because like I said, the reckless borrowing that Ofori-Atta went on, and so that the country became poorer. The country was inundated in debt. And when we were inundated in debt, and our people subjected to misery, suffering, unprecedented misery and suffering, they were getting richer, as evidenced by even Ken. The millions of Ghana cedis that he obtained from this borrowing contributed to making Ghanaians suffer untold hardship. So why should he be left to go unscathed? In a situation of where even the political authority, because President Nana Akufo-Addo was the one who was protecting Ofori-Atta and going on to do that. Who says that he was not even a beneficiary of the reckless and irresponsible borrowing that he was doing?
Absolutely, which is why
so he must also take responsibility and answer.
Absolutely.
Kwame, that's why I think that for a start, the good people of this country are demanding that accountability from especially these people and all other people who have fallen foul of our financial loss. Today we are struggling. I know that the finance minister is in great difficulty, struggling to see how he can push things together. In an economy they have so badly destroyed, and now compounded by the US aid. I'm sure that you know, since President Trump's coming,
of course.
he has
the revelations
pulled a lot of financial strings.
The revelations, you know, that even the Barack and Biden administrations were sponsoring ISIS and Al Qaeda and
all those kind of things. So Kwame, we are talking about a situation where it has very dire financial consequences for our people, and the current managers of our economy are struggling hard to try and find innovative ways in which they can raise further revenue to bring this. And like you said, look at the veterans who have lost their lives. People who have dedicated 40-50 years of their lives in serving the public, selfless service to the country. And this is what they were. So for them it was not a haircut. They cut off their heads. So it's a head cut, not a haircut. And so you can't cut off people's heads and walk scot-free. So Kwame, I think that as urgently as possible, the special prosecutor, I can say that with what he has done, he has excited many Ghanaians. And many people now have a scintilla of hope that the office of the special prosecutor can do something. He should not relax on his OS or after doing this thing to excite Ghanaians. He should not go back to sleep on the altar of anybody putting pressure on him. I remember, Kwame, you remember this man? He made the press conference under Nana Akufo-Addo and said that they were interfering with his work and preventing him from, as it were, doing fulfilling his constitutionally mandated duty. So I think President Mama will give him the decision to work.
Let me read a few messages and then we proceed. Good morning to KOD. The NDC MPs are gradually turning the entire NDC party into an apology brigade. This is not what we voted for. Adom from Cape Coast South constituency sent in this one. This one also says, good morning to KOD and to your panelists. We learned that the many appointees of the former administration have run out of the country. Please tell our Attorney General that if it's true, he should take the necessary steps to bring them back for accountability. We don't want Sedinam Tamaklose example. J.S. Fuseni in Tamale. This one says, good morning to you, Honorable KOD, and Juma Mubarak to my brothers with you. Ken is a fugitive or not? Yeah, good. All we want is our monies. All I will advise the OSP to do is to seize his data bank. After all, that is where he kept the stolen money. Nana can't shield him anymore. BB from Accra. Good morning to you, my very own champion KOD. Corruption has eaten into the very fabric of our dear nation. The sad reality is that the appointees of the MPP government were clothed with immunity against proper investigation and prosecution. This emboldened many more appointees at the time to involve themselves in corruption, knowing well that as long as Akufo-Addo remains president, nothing was going to happen to them. Today, their day of reckoning has come, and they must be made to pay for their recklessness. Daniel Akbaliok from Sandeba. You wanted to make a quick point, yeah?
Yes, I believe that Ghana
just land on this.
I'll come to just one point, and I'll come to you.
I believe that Ghana is a religious country.
Yeah.
And if for not anything at all, cancel the illegal allocation of funds from the consolidated fund of the Republic of Ghana to build a pit which people have called the largest hole in the world that has metamorphosed into a swimming pool, right? To glorify God alone should be a great sin that the people of Ghana should not forgive for. Because council, we have rules and regulations pertaining to how monies are withdrawn from the consolidated fund, right? And it needs to go to Parliament for approval. They violated that. And $58 million was allocated, right, to praise God. So, I mean, these people don't even believe in God. So when they bring him to even swear an oath, I don't think he should hold a Bible. I do not think that the Christian Council should allow Ken Ofori-Atta to hold a Bible to swear when he's going to give his statement. Honorable. And so that alone even should be something that we should pin him down with. Honestly speaking, honorable. Because Ghana is a religious country. We've been blessed by grace for so long. That is why we have been blessed with a lot of natural resource endowment and the peace that we continue to enjoy in this country. But for Ken Ofori-Atta, allocating $58 million for the National Cathedral, he has his grace, indeed, the good image of Christianity.
Not only that, but coming from the background, because I remember when Ken came to Parliament, this issue was, and they gave the assurance that no state money
will be used. That's right.
Not a peso of the taxpayers' money
will be used.
Go into that.
That's true.
We demanded that in Parliament.
That's true.
And look at what has happened.
You see, Kwame.
Yeah.
You see,
Kwame, the bird flies in the air, but the funeral is performed on the ground. Okay? If you don't know death, look at sleep. And Kwame, so I want to urge those the people in whom the people have vested power must always operate from a very transparent and humble background, knowing that there will be a day of accountability tomorrow. And so if you are very capricious, arrogant and vindictive with power, you are giving power and you want to go after your opponents like Ken Ofori-Atta did. He went around and shut down all the banks from Dr. Indum to Alaji Global, all those other people. He shut all their banks in a very vindictive manner, knowing very little that there will come a day when he himself will be powerful. And Kwame, I've been saying it. Look at life. You put up a heavy bonfire, you see how ferociously the firewood burns. Just wait, after some time it will end up in cold ash.
That's very deep.
So that is human nature.
All right.
So when you have power and you are raging with that fury, don't forget that tomorrow you will be cold ash.
Absolutely.
So people should endeavor to pray from humility, knowing that the Almighty Allah is the one in whom accountability is ultimately vested in, and he will bring you down to earth.
Thank you, Honorable. Let me commend a gentleman on social media, on Facebook particularly, who has been doing a yeoman's job. His name is the Accra Mayor. The Accra Mayor, yeah. Accra Mayor is on Facebook, and he is the one who has been identifying persons who are still at post. So he goes on Facebook, and then he copies the president, and then the following moment the person is relieved of his duties. So Accra Mayor, thank you very much for having and keeping a watchful eye on activities relative to this administration's success or otherwise. So thank you. You are doing a very good job. Let me also take this opportunity to congratulate all the elected Council of State members, and to say that we wish them well, albeit that as a movement for change, we thought that it is long overdue. I mean, the relevance of the Council of State is in doubt. Our friend won. Yes, he won. Yes, he won. In fact, he will be in Accra today, so I'll set up a meeting so that he can meet you. So, but in so far as it is still operational, we can only encourage them to do right, think right, and act right, and to provide and offer better advice to the President of the Republic of Ghana, so that the country can benefit from those advice that will be given to the President. On that note, let me read a few more messages, and then I'll come back to the other topical issue tabled for today's conversation. Let me remind viewers that the Facebook page is active, it's live. You can share the feed so others can get the opportunity to also join the conversation. Similarly, if you want to leave a text message or a WhatsApp message, you can do so that I will get the opportunity to read what you're thinking this morning and share it with the rest of the world. Good morning to you, Pan-African TV. Please, Ofori-Atta is not sick. He's simply a crafty brigand. Yeah.
Medical report. What is the sickness he's suffering from?
Yes, it is very important. Please, I am Nana from Tadi. Why are they attacking OSP but not talking about the monies that are gone?
I know, right?
MPP complaining of raiding homes. Were they right when they raided homes of some NDC members when they took power in 2017? They should know that there comes a time when an eye for an eye becomes necessary in order to stop some irresponsible people from behaving irresponsibly with impunity. Asanku from Santa Maria. I love the latter part of your message, but the first part I find a little troubling. That are we going to? So it's going to be more like a circus. If this government comes to power, that's if Ghanaians decide to go back to MPP, which I doubt, because movement for change, will be best suited to take over.
Indeed.
But should that be the circus, that once this one leaves and this one comes, this one seeks to attack this one comes, this one seeks to attack this one? I believe we must get to a point where we will look within the Ghanaianness of the people that are supposed to act right and move beyond, a conversation where you are NDC, so you won't get a job to do. You are MPP, so you won't get a job to do. You are movement for change, so you won't get a job to do. I think we must have broader conversations on that, and perhaps even change the constitution to find expression in how all of us can contribute significantly to the development of Ghana. If perhaps the constitution will suggest a quota, that if movement for change wins an election, there must be a quota of appointment reserved for opposition, so that everybody can work, particularly because of the kind of political system that we have. I can understand, because in the final analysis, if we are all aware that there will be a day of reckoning for each kind of account for a steel worship. Then it doesn't matter if you are NDC or MPP. Insofar as you have committed an offense, you will be hauled before the appropriate authorities to answer for your stewardship. So we must be, maybe I think we should have those kinds of conversations going into the future. Good morning to you all. And to able panelists, please let Afenyo Markins and the minority in parliament shut up. During the tenure of former President John Adekufo, he did bring late Victor Salome for prosecution while he was also under medical checks in the USA. He was handcuffed immediately. He touched down from the aircraft and sent to court and jailed him. The most sudden thing is that he died in prison. Is Ofori-Atta far better than the late Victor Salome? Hypocrites. Amos from a sinful Sue sent in this one. This one is from Kobla in Hohoi. Majority leader apologizing to Ofori-Atta was not bad, but he was undiplomatic and unwise to mention Japa's name on the floor. NDC people need wisdom in their dealing in utterances. Good morning to you, KOD. I'm happy to see you back on TV. Let me say a good morning to your cherished panelists. I just want to add my voice to the runaway Ken Ofori-Atta. I think the president should send an intelligence to bring him back to Ghana, investigated and retrieve our monies from him. I'm not even interested in jailing anybody. Once we are able to retrieve our monies, you know.
If somebody has stolen money.
And they can produce it.
Yes, we should bring it. Must answer for it.
Tisha Baba from Salaya says, good morning to
jailing fountains.
Please help me and many others who are eager to know where Comrade Patriotic Citizen Honorable Bernard Mona is. We missed him. Bernard Mona is around. Good morning to you, Mr. Danso. Kindly tell my brother AB that he should not forget about Safumafo and Thomas. Okay, Safumafo. I'm Thomas from Amanfrom. This one is from Kofi Felix, and he says, and this. Oh no, wait. What was this son? Okay. When they elected Ayariga, I told a friend, with this majority can't do well because of the weak nature. I'm vindicated. I started apologizing already. Kofi Felix sent in this one. Good morning, sir. The NDC cannot be and will not act like the MPP. The apology by the NDC leader in parliament to Ken was appropriate. The NDC is a different party. Agbeko from KOD. I totally agree with you entirely. The banking sector cleanup alone sent a lot of people into early grave. Baba from Sagnarigu, Tamale. Prof. Mills's house was invaded by thugs and 4 cars taken away when he was out of the country, traumatizing his wife in the process. That's MPP for you. Hey, things have happened though.
Atrocities, these people were shouting from the rooftop today. Where were they when they did worse things to and they say under the cloak of partisanism? Did they say anything?
Tell the NDC we didn't vote for apology sake, but we voted for bad mismanagement by the NDC. We are watching them. Simon from Kaswa sent in this one. Good morning to you, Kwame. Ken Ofori-Atta is the worst finance minister who hid his true colors behind Bible quotes and white outfits. Actually, Ken is a wolf in a sheep clothing. From Augustine, a Khalifa from Asante Achimagogo. Good morning to you, Kwame. My 39 years work has been stolen by Ken Ofori-Atta. My mother died since I was not able to provide her medical treatment. So you want Ken to stay here? My mother's ghost is at work. Mr. Ahiale from Akachi. Condolences to the family. Hello, Pan African Television. I'm surprised MPP is talking about raids in people's homes today. So far, only one incident has been reported. And it's not so far, in comparison to what happened in 2017, it pales into insignificance. Abdul Aziz from Accra sent in this one. Kudos to Dr. Ramsey. He's my favorite in the movement for change. He hustled hard during the campaign. Brilliant and humble guy indeed. This is Eben from Progressive Forces. Oh, Eben, good morning. How are you? Good morning to you. My name is Daniel, texting from Kaswa, popularly known as Car City. Kaswa City, okay, Car City. Please, I think Ken Ofori-Atta must be arrested and taken to court. People are not smiling, no.
Good morning to KOD. The remembrances of the dead is enough warning to the living. This goes to the new NDC appointees. Gibo from Techima sent in this one. I couldn't agree with you more. Good morning to you, KOD. I'm Lukman Yafariha from Wa. Me, my prayer is that Ofori-Atta should not die so that we can retrieve our money. Inshallah. Hajj says, good morning to you, KOD, and your able panelists. Watching you live from Lagos, Nigeria. I think the NDC leadership might change this Ayaga guy within a year or two with his posturing. I don't think he can help the party achieve its goals in Parliament. I'm sure the party leadership and the government will charge him to save the party from being crumbled by the minority. All right, thank you very much. The message is quite lengthy, but I think I've read it, Hajj. Good morning to KOD. The special prosecutor is doing his job and should be allowed to do it for God and country. It is time they all account for their deeds. Today is a day of reckoning for the MPP. The minority should stop crying when we have not yet started. Suglo K. Ibrahim, Loho, Nadoli Kalio constituency. Let me read two more messages and then we'll move on. I'm Clement Kusoyir Sunyane. Good morning to you. Your panelists have always impressed me. Ofori-Atta should be hooked to come and answer questions when found guilty, charged to pay all the monies. Some staff on retirement were cheated through his insurance companies. Imagine a senior officer who worked for about 30 years was only paid 38,000 Ghana cedis. This is callous. Kwame, the MDC in the parliament is weak. I can assure you. I can assure them if they don't collect all the money stolen, we'll be campaigning against them in 2028. Ofori-Atta has not just committed crimes. He has made many of us. Oh, this is Kodiju Mbuafu. Okay. Where should I read from? Okay. Ofori-Atta has not just committed crimes. He has made many of us and our pensioners paupers and financial lepers. He deserves much more than a raid on his home. He deserves to be flogged in a public square and courted after that. This is why many people are unimpressed by the OSP's Trappist tactics. At the end of the day, they will know the Freemasonry will rule. And it's big English. Okay, I will do some Facebook messages, but this is after we have dealt with the 81,000 ghost names. Yesterday, Ivan Barnes was in my house and we did a conversion of how much has been stolen. And 117 million Ghana cedis.
No.
704.
No. Ghana cedis. If you do the calculation,
it was
742.25 million Ghana cedis.
Let me greet Honorable Timothy Atabwade Awentiri. And he says Ken is the only finance minister declared a fugitive after the tenure of his office. Ken must be brought to Ghana to answer for his sins, whether or not Ken is in wheelchair or in drips. You see, KO, assuming MPP had won the elections, this accountability will certainly not see the best. Never. And the people gave NDC overwhelming votes for accountability purposes, and NDC must not feel the trust reposed in them. What Oral discovered, $21 billion, and what Ken is being asked to come and answer for is just a tip of the iceberg. After the forensic audit from each agency, department and ministry, Ghanaians will be utterly shocked and mesmerized about the quantum of damage to the people of Ghana by these people. Thank you very much, Honorable Timothy Atabwade Awentiri. Let's go to national. By the way, I know Gifty. Yeah, I know Gifty very well. Yeah, I know Gifty very well. Yesterday when I said she was my junior in KNUSC, people said, oh, why are you associating? But that's a school she attended. The school only teaches you about the things you need to know. How you conduct your life and yourself is entirely your decision. But, you know, and she's you know, when I was in KNUST, I went through some very difficult times. You know, not a young man from the village. So people were there for some of us, and Gifty was one of them. So I cannot sit here and conclude
that she has committed an offense, unless a competent court of jurisdiction,
of course,
is able to determine so. Sometimes, because she was in charge of it, you may think that, again, there's this watch that Kevin Taylor posted on YouTube. I can assure you that the person that she buys her watches from, I buy watches from the same person. And some of these watches are low grades. It's not the original. The original is very expensive. Some of them are $114,000 and things like that. Yeah, yes. So please, I think sometimes we need to, I'm not holding brief for her, but investigations must be conducted. We should not vilify and hang people even before, even before they are declared by the court as having committed any offense. So, on that basis, this is my personal opinion, and it's not the opinion of the TV station. It is not the position of any other person. This is my personal opinion, because it's like you, Ramsey. When someone comes and says you've stolen money, I know you personally. There may be other ancillary conditions, maybe at the time prevailing, which made you do the things you did, or maybe somebody did it and hung it on your neck. So all this must be interrogated. But having said that, let me allow you to proceed.
So, this issue of ghost names in our public sector payroll is highly anachronistic. It's not new. We've had this for God knows how long in our country. And for that reason, I quite remember Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Baumia said, and I quote, that Ghana Card has eliminated all ghost names in public payroll. Mahmoud Baumia, end quote.
I like how you started. It's a quote, end quote.
Council, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, who was seeking to lead this country as the president, and glory be to God and glory be to the actions of the people of Ghana, that didn't happen. Otherwise, it would have been a disaster on our country, and we would not have even unraveled such corrupt practices in the National Service Secretariat, which, like you reiterated, it needs to undergo further investigation. But let me tell the public the quantum of the rot in there and the amount we're dealing with. So currently, the reports that was before the NDC government during the transitional period was that there was about 180,030 active personnel in our National Service Secretariats who were being allocated to different government institutions. And so for that matter, a budget was taken for the payment to cater for these 180,030 people. But to the realization of, and let me commend Honorable Osei Asibe-Entry, the new NSS boss, for such patriotic action done to the people and to the country. Because if indeed the previous administration budgeted for 180,030 people, to our surprise, Council, the current population of active, truly active members of the National Service Scheme is 98,145. So there's a great disparity of about, let's say, 45% increment to the current number of actual active National Service personnel. Right? If you look at the payments that they receive every month, the monthly allowance, it's 715.57 pesos Ghana cedis. 715 cedis, 57 pesos. When you multiply that to the difference of 180,030 and then that of 98,145, you would get a tune of 404.25 million Ghana cedis. Council, and in the dollar term is $46 million. So it means that $46 million, right?
Yep.
Is allegedly paid to ghosts. Hey, I didn't know that. 46 million dollars. And when you multiply 46 million by 8, $368 million. No, by the 8 years of the administration. I am just.
You're talking in dollars.
Yes.
So if you multiply by 60.
Oh well, people know that the dollar is strong. Honorable. $46 million a year. So it means that $368 million. I'm projecting that the public purse has lost $368 million for the 8 years of this the Eswa Mahmoud Bawumia Akufo-Addo administration to ghosts. And council, to my surprise, we have 1.9 million young Ghanaian people, exuberant people that do not have jobs. Yet still, every year, due to corrupt means and practices, $46 million is lost from the National Service Scheme. And to my surprise, the dead is even enjoying than the living. Because it is the first time I'm hearing that ghosts are being paid. Ghosts. Because if you don't exist, right, if your name is written on a piece of paper to receive some funds and you do not even exist, then you are a ghost. And we are paying ghosts every year, $46 million. Council, this $46 million, let me tell you, can be used to support young entrepreneurs by virtue of creating a venture capital fund to start up businesses. Honorable, this $46 million, council, again, could have been used to support the free SHS in terms of the development of health, educational infrastructure. When it comes to our healthcare sector, this $368 million for the period of 8 years could have been used to complete a lot of these district hospitals under the Agenda 111 project. But today, we have to deal with this shame on the image of Ghana, that the people of Ghana have paid taxes and entrusted some people to execute their jobs diligently and in a patriotic manner and in the interest of Ghana. I do not think that this is what we voted for when Akufo-Addo was brought into office. Indeed, and I quote Sam George's word, Akufo-Addo did not only steal from the public purse, but he stole the purse. Council, they stole the purse. Because if for 8 years, per my projections, you have been able to siphon $368 million from the innocent people of Ghana. Look, Council, and do you know the sad thing? Honorable, 90% of the revenue GRA collects from taxes comes from Accra. Honorable, 90% of Ghana's tax revenue is from Accra. So can you imagine, Council, what we could have used this $368 million to do to boost productivity, economic productivity in these other regions, so that they can be able to create businesses and increase our tax revenue. But today, this is what we are dealing with. So I am calling for a proper, thorough investigation in this matter. All the relevant authorities in the National Service Secretariat have to be questioned. Of course, these are alleged claims, but you lawyers will say, Odi Ultra Pattern, right? They should be given a fair hearing so that we can be able to see the merits of the issue. But I know, Council, knowing the corrupt nature of the Eswa Akufo-Addo Bawumia regime, I do not doubt such revelation.
All right, thank you. We Ghanaians are hypocrites. We said the OSP was not working. Now that he's working, we are criticizing him. Hey, Ghana, Napoleon into Sankofa base. This one says, God, please wake Kwame Nkrumah up from his grave to come and see what is happening right now to his Ghana. I bet you Kwame Nkrumah would, if okay. Listen, if God wakes Kwame Nkrumah up from his grave to come and see what is happening right now in Ghana, I bet you Kwame Nkrumah will die again out of shock, because after his death, everything basa. Thank you. Good morning to you, Kwame. The raiding of the residents of the not new patriotic party. Raiding of residents of, it's not new. Okay, MPP raided Prof. Mills's residence, so MPP should stop making noise. Ken from Central Region. Kwame, why is Afenyo marking now the mouthpiece to Ken Ofori-Atta? Afenyo shouldn't forget that he is on the radar of Oral. Good morning. Kojo from Upper West Region. Joel Suleiman, Joel Fuseni. Good morning to KOD and the panelists. We learned that many appointees of the former. Okay, I think I've read this one. I read this one on WhatsApp. This is a text message. Good morning to you. MPP has caused harm and good because they have left out the development and employment, but His Excellency will do everything possible. Emmanuel from Zabzugo. Former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta can abscond but cannot evade justice simply because crime has no expiry date. It's quite surprising that after he and his phalanx of cousins and concubines invariably plunged this country into the abyss of destruction, they clandestinely left the shores of Ghana to enjoy the looting. Written by Ernest Evelof Kwashi from Nansuman. Ernest, thank you very much for your message, but it's quite lengthy. Let me come to Honorable A.B. Fuseni, and then that's interesting. So, Gero, do you think this woman in a capacity and position will wear a fake watch? I'm telling you that I know where she buys her watches from, and I also buy it from the same dealer. Honorable, let's proceed.
See, Kwame.
Yes, sir.
That is why I'm saying that, Kwame, if nothing happens to so many people in this country, a lot of the good people would get disillusioned with our politics.
They will give up on democracy.
Because you see,
but let me give a small perspective, man. Sorry, I'm sorry. I want to is also making a quick point. He says that which banks paid and all of those people, so it's more like a cartel. So when you are discussing, maybe you can also touch on that. Sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Kwame, you can never leave out the issue of collusion, where people, on account of certain monetary benefits, they may get. So I think that investigation must go into this and be able to establish all this. But Kwame, I'm saying so because those of us who are political actors, if we don't endeavor to strengthen the covenant between us and the people and answer to their legitimate needs and aspirations, this democratic experiment will lose steam, and the people may just think that it's not even worth it and drift into what even some of our Sahelian brothers and sisters are doing. Because, Kwame, you remember at the very onset, Nana Akufo-Addo's claim was what? That if you want to make money, don't come into his government. Ally? Kwame, it was an indirect advert to people that if you wanted to make money, come into my government. In fact, those who wanted to exhibit honesty in MPP have been sacked.
It was an invitation to treat.
Yes. It is those who want to perpetrate criminal acts and make money. They have been given and awarded positions within the MPP. And so clearly you can see, Kwame, this matter came up during the MPP. Allegations of ghost names and all those more practices at the National Service Secretariat. It came up. Nana Akufo-Addo has never harbored a scintilla of commitment to fight corruption. Not a scintilla. So, it is not for nothing, Kwame, that he had been declared the chief corruption clearing agent. And no mean a person than the man he appointed as the special prosecutor, Martin Benskaisa Lamisi Amidu, described him as the mother serpent of corruption. So under his watch, there was no way he would prosecute one MPP person. No way. If you compare him with President Mama, he's light years away from President Mama. He doesn't come anywhere close as far as commitment to corruption. So that's why no wonder our corruption perception index continued to improvement under his watch. Kwame, just for this national service alone, Kwame, if you consider, and my brother Ramsey is mathematical astuteness. I mean, Kwame, even at the conservative rate that they talked about, the $46 million that he talked about annually, if you convert that one, Kwame, you get a conservative estimate of 736 million. And for the 8 years, Kwame, you are talking about 5.88 billion Ghana cedis. Now, if I'm going to call it in the old currency, my jaw will break. Because this would be more than 58 trillion Ghana cedis. Can you imagine that? Kwame, if you have this money, if you can save this money, do you need to go to the IMF?
No, no.
Look at this money. Kwame, just look at this money. In India, if you can get 5.88 billion Ghana cedis, this is even conservative. From one institution alone, this from just the National Service Secretariat. You can imagine all those. Look at Crown and Associates. Look at SML. Put all of them together. Kwame, in just a year, you see how people have bled this nation white. Those who claimed they were coming to protect the public purse. And I've been saying, so look at Nana Akufo-Addo's government, 127 ministers, and look at the output, total mess and chaos in all sectors of the economy, in all spheres of national life, even to the fact that even our blasters can no longer even qualify when they are in groups with soccer minnows.
Talk about even
Like that one to this serious allegations of corruption. So in all sectors, the tag of corruption was there. Nana Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawe, they never cared to investigate even one, because either they were either complicit or they endorsed their appointees to carry out those acts of malfeasance in the public space. So Kwame, I think that, look, these investigations into this, Kwame, we must get people who are patriotic, who are motivated to get to the bottom of the matter and do public service and have sympathy on the good people of this country. Yep. So that, Kwame, they can do a meticulous job and unearth all the criminals and the miscreants involved in this. I have heard allegations of some people in the top echelons of the MPP at the party level involved in these kinds of things. Kwame, they must go to the bottom and unearth all of them. We will remove them and remove their dross for everybody to see who they are. And the law must be made to take its course. Kwame, I think that, like I said, if we have a prudent management of our resources, honestly, we don't need to go to the IMF and others to go and borrow.
So Akufo-Addo was right when he said,
yes,
we have the money.
Yes. That's one of the things I agreed on him. We have the money here. That's true. But him, what happened to him when we were teeing the Sikasu? What happened? Under his watch. So Kwame, I think that a very thorough, meticulous job must be done, and I think that I have absolute confidence in my brother Ayini.
Thank you.
To do a very decent job and ensure that. But Kwame, the biggest and most heartening news is that the poor national service persons, you see, they were paying them
750.
Kwame, look at this pottery. Even the 700 cannot cater for their lorry fare. If you are going to get up here, Kwame, some of them were in Tema. If you get up here to go to Tema, how much is the lorry fare? Kwame, even if you are paying 50 cedis, very conservative, 50 cedis times 5.
35.
No, not 250. 250. That's a week for 5 days. 250 by 4 is 1,000. That's lorry fare, 1,000, and you are paid 700 and something.
Billy Bala says good morning.
But they cleared their arrears. And they were in arrears for many months and not paid. So you can imagine the double jeopardy.
Billy Bala on Facebook says good morning to KOD. There are more of the Kens that we need to take our monies from. KOD, do you remember the man, Honorable, don't cry. Wallahi, we have to rescue this nation. Arrest my case. Senior Boham says, Kwame, we were assured that with the coming of the GH card, these double identity and ghost names would be a thing of the past. What are we seeing now? Right from Reverend Kusibuateng, Kwabena Edu-Jemfi saga, I knew we were in trouble. Abena Ofori-Atta, good morning to you, KOD. The corruption is unimaginably unspeakable proportions, and we must recover all. I do not understand why we seemingly protect the corrupt in society. It is very pathetic. My brother said, Abuchi says, Ghanaians need a majority leader who is supposed to be as crafty as a fox. As Mr. Yarga now the minister, is Mr. Yarga now the Minister of Defense or Interior. The modus operandi was not the best, but when you sow the wind, you reap the whirlwind. Mohamed Fusheni Ayigbedu. Good morning to you, Lawyer KOD. Listeners and guests, especially my former MP, Alhaji A.B. Fusheni. I think President Mahama should handle these cases quickly and punish those found guilty. The PDS fraudulent deal, Kuko Rose audit, AFCON profligate expenditure, judgment debt, National Cathedral corruption, Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing Company scandal, Boss contaminated fuel, Snake Software scandal, Jida saga, Temapor scandal, Ajapa, Sputnik V. Hey, the thing's plenty. There was one that I even petitioned the OSP. That is why I think I kind of agree with people when they say the OSP has been very lame duck. Because I recall, you remember, I petitioned the OSP in respect of the All African Games.
Yes.
Nothing came of it. I have to petition again.
But the OSP came out with the this and that. Government, the MPP government and the Ghana
I don't believe that.
Kwame, can you believe that? Can you believe that when Matamidi said that even Ofori-Atta and the president had to call
No,
call him?
I don't believe that.
Kwame, I'm saying that you need extraordinary courage to be able to, when the president calls you and tells you stay off this thing.
And that's why we are calling.
Kwame, don't harm you out.
Forms.
Exactly. Yes.
Can I read the messages?
He was hounded.
The majority should stop trying to please the minority all the time. Before they decide to apologize, they should have first demanded an apology from MPP for how they treated NDC in 2017. Is this not the same MPP who saw it necessary to use an ambulance to bring in a sick MP to Parliament, even when the sick MP's family were against it? Passed the useless e-levy. What has changed? This Ken is sick. Ken is sick. Who cares? The OSP should immediately use the private jet, handcuff him like a common criminal and bring him to Ghana. Thank you. The messages on WhatsApp, Facebook are
Look at
I cannot read
is
them
it not
all.
an irony that MPP, which was persecuting the then minority leader, now Minister for Finance, Honorable Atufosin,
Right.
for merely just taking directives from his boss.
Anyway, therefore, Kwame,
Just to sign a letter of credit. Now look at the quantum of contracts they issued to Nana Akufo-Addo's daughters.
let me read a few messages.
Look at that. Look at these people.
Therefore, Kwame, I salute Alhaji. He speaks without fear. I wish Muhammad gives him a position. People like him deserve it. David from Mando. Good morning to you, my brothers. This Muhammad government, we are going to see whether this our democracy will help us or not. If not, then we change the dancing by Awal Franco Estate. Good morning to you, please. Thank you for the program. Mr. Ken is not better off. The CEO of Gamont, who bitterly passed away because of the haircut, very painful. Oh yeah, the Kama industry.
Yeah, the Kama.
Yes, Kama. Oh, the man died though. Sad, so sad. Hey, but people are so wicked, eh? Good morning to KOD and the panelists. The declaration of Ken as a fugitive of justice by the OSP did not come as a surprise to me. During his days as a finance minister, he was involved in fraudulent transactions, including the unnecessary borrowings of which his firm
was a transaction advisor. OSP must do everything within its means to extradite him to the jurisdiction if he fails to return voluntarily. Adams from Moa sent in this one. And you know, the hypocrisy in this country is so unimaginable. When we were talking about the fact that Ken Ofori-Atta, being the finance minister, could not have used his company as the book runners for all the transactions that the government entered. No, the APP, they were defending it. I said, but you people, how can you defend something like that? How? That you have a finance minister who has a financial institution, and his financial institution is being used to keep the books of all government transactions in this country. Look, there's a company, a pensions company, United Pensions.
Well, it's not only
hold on. Enterprise, that's what I'm saying.
There's one insuring all day.
Yeah. So I'm saying that even the pensions,
this is Tiffany.
Even the pensions,
it's clear.
The pensions fund. They took most of the things from Snake. They took most of the things from SNIT. And my time is up because you know the situation. I have to go and...
I know, but lastly, I know I am a person that opposed to a different faith, but we are all one people. I quite remember a popular quote by Ken Ofori-Atta, and I'll leave it to the public out there to judge. When he presented the 2022 budget, he quoted Isaiah 9:10, and I read, "The bricks have fallen, but we will build it with dressed stones. The sycamore have been cut down, but we will put cedars in their place." Kwame, I leave it to the people of Ghana.
The first word he will use the gospel or something to lull you into the sense of false confidence. So that Ken Ofori-Atta, anytime he comes to parliament, he will quote copiously from the Bible and look for very sentimental ones to quote. So that and then he will dress in white. White.
All white.
And because many Africans think white is godly and others, and then they associate him with godliness. And that one is where he would you and steal you big time.
Thank you.
That is what is happening.
Dinko from Garrison, greetings to you, especially Honorable A.B. Hussein. Kwame, don't you think that an audit must also be conducted on the free SHS enrollment numbers and actuals? The president and his ministers' figures put it at 5 million, whilst independent institutions put it at
5.7 million. So one is just 3.0 something.
All right, my time is up. Thank you very much, Honorable Hussein. Thank you very much, Dr. Ramsey, and a big thank you to our viewers for spending your morning with me. I think I've done well with the messages this morning. I've read as many as I could. My name is Kwame Osudanso. I will see you on Monday. Do have a pleasant weekend. I love you all. Happy Valentine's Day. Bye-bye.